Yeah, bro, like I was telling you, though, Tracy, he did the interview with us from the freaking hospital bed, dude.
Fucking nuts.
That doesn't surprise you. Want to hear a crazy Tracy Smothers story?
Of course.
Okay, so I spent a lot of time around Tracy, but hands down, one of my favorite Tracy stories, and it kind of set the tone for you, is we used to do these shows in Creve Coeur, Illinois, at this bar called the Hilltop. They were outdoor shows in the summertime, and the parking lot in the back was a black top concrete, and then you put the ring on that's also black canvas. You're in a hot box, you're in an oven, and it's terrible. Middle of July, 105 degrees outside. Main event is Tracy Smothers versus Corbin Blaze, and also there's a highway. There's like a small road that runs right across, like right next to the ring. So I'd say about 50 feet from the ring is to where this road is.
All right.
So towards his later days, most of Tracy's matches went a little bit of wrestle, talk, wrestle, talk. So he's
like a Ricky Morton thing. Yeah. By time.
Yeah. So he's wrestling Corbin Blaze, who now goes by Geronimo. And at one point he stops, and there were more boys than fans in the crowd. So maybe 10 people had paid to go to this show, which was odd, but it was what it was. So Tracy decides to turn it on for the boys, right? So he gets on, one of the times he gets on the microphone and cars are driving by slowly, and he's yelling, "You guys marks? You guys wrestling fans? You want to come to the wrestling? Hey, get out of your cars. Stone Cold might show up, you know?" So it's just Tracy being Tracy, and at this point he knows all the boys are watching this, so he's just doing this to pop the boys. So there would be a few times on shows where Joey Grunge, who brought Tracy in a lot, and it's the reason I got to train with Tracy, where Joey would have to like literally stand up out of his chair and scream at Tracy that it was supposed to be a PG show. And so at one point, this little girl on a bicycle, couldn't be maybe more than 10, 11, maybe 12, but she was pretty young. I
have a kid that age.
Okay, so like maybe a little closer to 10, but she was on a bicycle. And Tracy's like, "Hey, baby, hey, little girl, hey, you like pro wrestling? Do you know who John Cena is? Because I might be able to get John Cena on the phone." And also, for those of you who may not also know who Tracy Smothers is, bigger dude, always wore a singlet with a Confederate flag. And like, but it's
Wild-Eyed? No,
the Wild-Eyed Southern Boy. Wild-Eyed Southern Boy, but he was also Super Smoky Smashy Smothers. So this little girl stops dead on her bicycle and looks at Tracy. She's like, "Hey, gentlemen, hey, what's going on?"
Here you go. Good to see you again, bro.
Hey, what's going on? So he stops her. She stops on this bicycle. "Hey," and she looks Tracy dead in the eyes. She goes, "Wrestling, come on. I think there's a salad bar in there too. If you're hungry, might be some pudding on that." I know how little kids like, yeah. So she stops and she looks dead at Tracy, and then she turns around, no-sells him, and rides off on her bike. And on the microphone, "Fine, fuck you, you little bitch. Nobody wanted you here anyway." Fucking dead, and Joey's dying. Joey's gasping, crying, standing up. "Tracy, it's a PG show. What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, that little bitch no-sold me. I told her John Cena was going to be here, and she didn't want nothing to do with it." Dude,
all the boys losing their shit.
Oh, dude, it wasn't. Corbin standing in the ring. It's 105 degrees outside, and Corbin's in the middle of the ring sweating, waiting for Tracy to start wrestling again.
Son of a bitch.
I've got a beer in my hand, and I'm standing there. I was dying, like I was in tears. But it was like that. They wrestled for 45 minutes, and it was just Tracy stopping every now and then after some holds, getting some heat, and then fucking with cars and people as they came by, because it was Tracy, and Tracy knew when to turn it on for the boys.
The definition of less is more, bro.
Oh, exactly.
Making a 45-minute match. Hey, maybe 0 bumps. 45 minutes.
Well, and I saw Tracy do that in a crowd of 500 people one time.
Crazy
like he, even in a crowd full of 500 people, he'd still stop and, sometimes try to pop the boys, but then you'd have 500 people in a crowd dying with laughter. Or mad if he was truly working heel. Mad because he was stopping the match just to talk. And
he had him right here, bro.
Yeah, and he knew how to get his heat, and he didn't have to do it cheaply either, because he knew just by holding up the match, and then people, granted, some of those would go on for 45 minutes, but he was so good, you felt like you only were there for 10.
And that's, to me, that always is like an exemplary example of how great guys from that era are. where you're so lost in what they got going on that you're not even concerned that they're not actually having a full-blown wrestling match, and the time just flies by. You know what I mean? It just flies by because they're so entertaining, and you just kind of can't take your eyes off the dudes, man. And you can only earn that through experience, I think. I mean, it's cool, like, you know, some guys are uber talented on the mic or whatever from day one, but until you've actually done it and you know how to have that crowd in the palm of your hands, it's nothing like it. Nothing like it at all.
Yeah.